Okay, so let me just refresh the people. You obviously know what's going on. We started the show with this. Taylor Decker went from a finger to a hand to going to be down a while. Penei Sewell reps at right tackle all off season. Now the last 2 days, left tackle. Oh, great. May debut against Nick Bosa on 10 minutes of rep time. So, right, terrifying. So let me start with this. TJ, in all your years playing, and I asked John Jansen it, like, what type of hand injury precludes you from playing as a lineman?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. But the one thing that I do know is I'm in no position to question Taylor Decker's toughness.
I'm asking about the injury.
Yeah, and I understand. Usually when you think finger, you might think, okay, a couple days, wrap it up, put a cast on it, do whatever you have to do, and get out there and play. And that's what makes me think that it's got to be something way more serious than just a finger. Now today
nerves.
you're starting to hear hand, right? Could be a wrist injury. We don't know.
Starting to hear surgery.
It could
possibly.
it could be an arm injury. You just don't know. Maybe something. And I've had injuries before that, hey, my knee's jacked up, right? And then when you get into the testing room, you get the MRIs. Oh, it's actually my hip, right? So I don't know. I think that's the concerning part. But Taylor Decker obviously is a guy that, I think he's played 55 of the last 56 games. Right. I mean, through a lot of injuries, right? So it's got to be something, in my mind, pretty darn serious to keep him out of this game. And like Coach Campbell said today, anytime a coach says he's going to be out a little while,
that's 4 to 6 weeks.
That could be 2 to 4. It could be 4 to 6.
So we talked about
a tough time.
You got a kid you drafted as a left tackle.
Yeah.
You've wanted to make him a right tackle. It's been a little bit of a train wreck pass pro. Now he says he's repped at left tackle the last 2 days. You got a debut against Nick Bosa. I hate this idea that people think you can flip tackle spots with ease. He's 20. He didn't play ball last year. He's a left who you're making a right, and now on 10 minutes of preparation, you want him to kick back left. Do you believe he starts at left tackle Sunday?
I think he does. Yes, I do. And, I this is just me talking. I don't have any sources. I haven't talked to anybody. But I went back and forth on this.
TJ Lang reporting.
I really have gone back and forth on this the past 24 hours pretty heavily. And I remember even having a conversation with a couple of people maybe 2 weeks into camp saying, because the depth at the offensive line was really a concern throughout the preseason. And we were just kind of spitballing saying, okay, if something happens to the right tackle, this guy comes in. If something happens to left tackle, hey, shoot, you got to look at moving Sewell over there because he's had the experience and was obviously a very good player there. And I've gone really back and forth the last day. Yesterday I initially said I think they should move him, and then part of me started thinking, okay, he missed time. He was limited, right? He didn't practice. Maybe he's going to be a game-time decision. If he's a game-time decision, no, you don't make the switch. Keep Sewell at right tackle, put in Nelson at left tackle. You can find ways to help a guy to get you through a game, right? But that kind of changed today when I heard them say it's going to be some time, because that makes me think it could be two weeks. It could be 4 weeks. If you talk about surgery, heaven forbid, it could be 6 weeks, right? And that's the scary part. But when I think about the fact that you're not moving an all-pro player from right tackle to left tackle, Penei Sewell's certainly had his struggles throughout the preseason. I think he is the best option after Taylor Decker at left tackle for this team to get you through what sounds like it's going to be multiple week injury. So that's kind of my just guess on what's going to happen. I think Sewell's going to be the guy there until Decker gets back. And when Decker does get back, whenever that is, he's a last year he had an incredible year. He's not an all-pro guy like Rico said yesterday, but he's a top 10, top 12 guy at his position, which he's proved the last couple of years. And if you move Sewell back, it's going to be uncomfortable for him. But there are ways there's a comfort level saying, okay, we've got our left tackle back. We've got our top 10 or 12 left tackle back in the league. Sewell back to right tackle. You can find ways to help him out, get him through the first couple games to make sure his confidence just doesn't completely tank, right? And that's going to be important. But yes, I do think that it's the wise thing to do to move Sewell to left tackle, because I do think he's the best option there right now.
TJ Lang, Lions sideline reporter, here in studio, and it's now official. Taylor Decker is out Sunday. The Lions injury report just came out. Because nothing is easy with this team. Let's just say Sewell goes to left tackle and has a great game.
Oh.
Bosa becomes a non.
That's what we're saying.
Put you in a bind.
He is all of a sudden. He looks like he
Revelation.
is wow.
He's Tristan Wirf's left side.
Yeah.
You got something here. Now what do you do?
That's absolute best case scenario, and I think
It's
that's
best and worst.
But honestly, I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I don't think it's a far-fetched idea to throw out there that this kid could go out of left tackle and holy cow, man, he's got it.
But then why didn't they do that from the start? Where if you're if you talk to Taylor in the offseason and go, hey, dude, if we get this dude, you're going to the right. And then what? Taylor goes, well, I don't want to play football no more?
I think there's a pride factor, especially when you're a guy like Taylor Decker who has proved that you're a starting left tackle in this league.
Paid.
And you get paid like a left tackle. There's a part of you, though, where and I learned this through playing 10 years. I mean, this is a business. If Taylor Decker goes over to right tackle, is mediocre or below average, teams are going to hold that against you. You know, they're not going to say, oh, okay, it's okay. You moved to right tackle. We understand why you didn't play as good as you were at left tackle. Now, you know, that hurts. Okay, let's start renegotiating, right? Or that hurts maybe his market value if you try to trade the kid or if he hits another free agent year. I mean, that's all part of what you have to take into account player-wise is that, no, I'm an established starting left tackle in this league. I'm an established premier player at my position. I'm not switching, right? And that's something that I don't think is selfish. I think it's just what most people would do if they've had success at their position. But Rico, to get back to your point, I think if Sewell goes out and just absolutely dominates, obviously it's going to put them in a tough situation. But I think that's the best case scenario because a guy like Penei Sewell who has taken his lumps in the preseason, right? He had a pretty tough game against Pittsburgh and was going against all-pro guy Melvin Ingram, 30-year-old player. Penei Sewell's 20 years old. I think that was kind of one of those welcome to the NFL moments for Penei Sewell. But if he does go out there and play left tackle at a really high level and shows that he can do it, I think that just the confidence that he's going to gain from that to say, okay, I know I can play in this league. If he does have to bounce back to right tackle,
but if he
at
gets
least the confidence is going to be a lot higher than probably what it is right now.
He balls out at left tackle. How do you say, hey, Rook, great job. Appreciate what you did. Love you.
Yeah.
Need you to go back over there now.
It's a lot easier to convince a 20-year-old rookie than a seventh-year starting left tackle in Taylor Decker. That's how I look at it. But
Nothing's easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, and it's a tough bind, right? But would you rather have, I think right now you could comfortably say, and not trying to be rude, but I'd say after watching the preseason, I know Penei Sewell's been working, he's been working his ass off the last couple weeks trying to get everything right, but you could say he's probably an average player at right tackle at best.
That's
right
being
now.
kind.
Right now. And if you put Matt Nelson at left tackle, I think it's fair to say he would be a below average starter at left tackle.
Also kind.
Would you rather have Matt Nelson at right tackle be a below average right tackle and just at least see what you have with Penei Sewell that you just don't know right now, but maybe he could be above average and a good player.
And you're probably going to hate my answer. When you made the commitment to make him a right tackle, his future here, let's take what you say as gospel. You're not even approaching Taylor Decker about a move. You didn't do it when you drafted him. You ain't doing it now.
Yep.
Then the only thing that matters long term, not Sunday, not October, long term, is Penei Sewell's viability at right tackle. So for me, easy for me to say, right? I'm not managing a locker room of 53 guys. TJ, I just sit here and go, he's either sinking or swimming at right tackle because there's not a scenario where he's ever at left.
Yeah, and as of right now, there's not. I mean, you look at the contract that Taylor Decker.
Right, and they're only better if he works at right tackle because we know Taylor's going to be a good, I don't want to upset Rico, not an all-pro left tackle, but he's a very good left tackle.
Right.
I would leave him at right tackle.
But and that kind of takes me back to the first point. If it was a one-week injury and if it was a game-time decision and just, okay, Taylor can't go this week, okay, yes, I could see Matt Nelson, you're at left tackle. We're going to give you some chips with the tight ends. We're going to give you the slide from the left guard. You can find ways to get through a game, but when you're talking about multiple games, and especially when you look at the schedule ahead with Green Bay, Baltimore, Chicago with Khalil Mack. And
Welcome to the league, buddy. You could
yeah.
see his confidence. He could turn into Andrew Thomas if you're not careful.
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
Thanks,
I wouldn't go that far. But
TJ and I talk about the Giants O-line quite often.
Yeah, but
it's not a nice conversation.
The one thing I have to keep reminding myself, Mike, is this a 20-year-old kid, right? And he's still growing. He's still kind of learning the NFL game, right? But I think if you give him a chance to go play left tackle, best case scenario, he plays really well. And now you're in a bind of what do we do at the tackle positions? That's a good spot to be in. If he goes out there and completely bombs at left tackle, okay, let's put you back at right tackle where you've been practicing. But I think you also have to take into effect the expectations, right? Obviously, they're 8-point underdogs this week. Obviously, they believe in their locker room that that it's different. But on the outside looking in, I think everybody can pretty much agree that it's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be some lumps this season. So why not take advantage of that and say, you know what, we're going to try to test some guys out and maybe move a guy in a different position just to see what we have for future decisions.
You know who the happiest man is about all of this, right? It's Jeff Okuda. We're not talking about him.